Hello, amazing friends. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to solve this Oxford University interview question. I tell you it's just very simple, okay? Now, by inspection, you can easily tell the value of x here, but we are meant to get all solutions, okay? Looking at this, you'll see this is a cubic equation because it has power of x is 3. So you giving us one of the solutions is not yet complete. So we are expected to get 3 solutions for this. And join me as I teach you how to get it. And in this, I'm going to use the synthetic division method. It's going to be amazing. Now, we're going to begin this with solution, okay? Now, since we are using the synthetic method of division, we have to get one of the solutions. Remember, we said there are going to be 3 solutions at the end. So let's get one of the solutions. And to get it, we're going to use our try and error method. Let's see to that. So let's bring down this equation. We have x squared minus s cubed is equal to 80. Now, what do? You check out for the factors of this 80. What numbers can divide this 80? Include the negative and positive. Now, for 80, we can have positive and negative 1. Then we can also have positive and negative 2. We can have positive and negative 4 and the rest of them. Now we are going to choose which of these numbers can we substitute at this left side of the equation to be equal to 80. Let's see to that. So we can now say when x is 1, so put 1 here, we have 1 squared minus 1 cubed. You see this is not equal to 80, so it's not a solution. Try from when it is negative, you will still observe that it will still not be equal to 80. So we are not including this. Now let's check for 2. So if you put 2 here, you have 2 squared minus 2 cubed. This will give us 4. This will give us 8. It's still not equal to 80. And if you also check for its negative, it will still not be 80. You can do it with me, okay? So this is not what we want. Let's check for 4. So put 4 here. We have 4 squared minus 4 cubed. 4 squared is 16. This will give us 64. If you subtract this, it's not equal to 80. Now let's check for when it is negative 4, okay? So let's just say when x is negative 4, let's still see if it will give us 80. So we're going to have negative 4 raised to power of 2 minus negative 4 to the power of 3. Let's check if it will give us 80, okay? So this means whenever you have a negative number and the power is even, always know that the sign will turn to positive. So this squared, this will now become positive. So we're going to have positive, then 4 squared is 4 times 4 to give us 16. Did you see that? And when it is raised to the power of odd, 3 is odd, the negative sign returns, okay? So here we're going to have negative of 4 squared is 4 multiplied 3 times to give us 64. I hope you're with me there. Now, if you simplify this, we are going to have 16. Multiply this, it gives us positive 64. And if you add this up, it is equal to 80, which is what we have here. Is that amazing? Now, what it means is that x being negative 4 is a what? A solution. So we have been able to get one of the solutions. Now, let's go to the remaining solutions. That is where the synthetic division comes in. Now, to do that, what do we have? For us to use the synthetic division, always make sure that this equation is in order, okay? Now, what do we mean by that? When you look at this, you see what we have here is this. So making it in order is ensure that it begins with the highest power and follows suit. So the coefficient here, and we work with coefficients if you're using the synthetic division, okay? So here, let's rearrange this. So it's going to be negative x cubed. This is positive here, okay? So we have positive x squared. You observe there is no value for x and there should be. So in that case, we are going to have 0x. That is why we say we should put it in order, okay? Now this 80 is positive. We are going to take it to the left side. It is going to give us negative 80 and is equal to 0. Okay, so remember we said we only work with coefficients for us to work with synthetic division. Now to divide, just draw your line in this form. Then these coefficients, you put it here. The coefficient here is negative 1. This is 1. This one is 0. And the constant is negative 80. Okay, what do you include here? this solution you've gotten, which is -4. Now, the rule is when you multiply, you add. Okay, so what do you do first? We're going to multiply, but before then, bring down the first value. So we're going to have -1. So let's multiply first. -1 multiplies 4. -4 multiplies -1 is giving us +4. Then where do you write it? You write it inside. Are you seeing what we're doing? Now add. Okay, add these two. It's going to give you 5. You bring it down. I hope you're seeing what we're doing. Repeat the process again. Multiply this with this. It gives you -20. You write it here. So we have -20. Add this plus this. It gives us -20. Now repeat it again. This multiplies this, you give us +80. Then add. If you add this, it gives you 0. Now this 0 shows that this solution is correct. Okay, so that is why. Now what do you have here? Remember, this is, you're using x to divide x cubed. So the result should be x squared. So this has x squared, this one has x, and this is the constant. So in that case, this equation becomes negative of -x squared. This 5 and this will be +5x. I hope you are seeing what we're doing. Then -20, and everything is equal to 0. So this has led us to quadratic equation. But most students don't like working with equations that begin with negative sign. So to clear this, you are going to multiply each by a negative sign, a -1. So multiply or divide, let's multiply by -1. So if you multiply everything by -1, this will turn to +x squared, this will turn to -5x, and this will turn to +20. Everything is equal to 0. So at this point, you can use any equation, any of the methods for solving quadratic equation. I'm going to teach you how to use the formula method. Okay, so remember, for your formula method, the general equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now, for us to get x, it is -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, you see that the coefficient of x squared here is 1. So what it means is that our a is 1, okay? So we have it that our a is 1, and the coefficient of x here is -5. So what it means is that our b is 5. So our b is -5, and our c is 20. You see that? So we're going to plug this into this formula. So in that case, we are going to now have x is equal to negative of this b. Your b is already having a negative sign, so you put it inside, plus or minus square root of, our b is -5 squared, okay, minus 4 multiplied by our a is 1, then multiply by our c is negative, is 20. You see that? All divided by 2 multiplied by our a is 1. Interesting. So if you keep solving, you have x is equal to, if you multiply this, it gives you +5, okay, plus or minus, then we have square root of, this will give us +25, then multiply this, it gives us -80, okay, all over. Multiply this, it gives you 2. Now you simplify, we are going to have, so let's take this off. So if you simplify this, we have x is equal to -5 plus or minus square root of, subtract this, it gives us -55 all over 2. Now, what did you observe? You observe that the value inside this root is having a negative sign. And what does it mean? It means this is going to give us a complex result, because there is no real number that will have a square root that contains a negative sign inside it. I hope that is clear. So in that case, to remove this, x is going to give us, so we have x is equal to, please, this is +5, so let's take this off. So we have 5 plus or minus, then square root of, for this, just remember this tip, okay? When you have this, it is the same as root of a multiplied by root of b, okay? So in that case, for this, we are going to have it as this, all over 2. Now from here, we have it that x is equal to 5 plus or minus using this rule here, we're going to have root of -1 is multiplying root of 55 all over 2. Now, we use an imaginary unit to replace this. In that case, our I, which is an imaginary unit, is written as square root of -1. Okay, remember we said that this is leading us to a complex result. So this is what we usually use this to represent our square root of -1. So from here, we're going to have it that x is equal to 5 plus or minus. This will now be replaced with this. So we have I. Then this is a prime surd, meaning that it cannot be reduced again. So we're leaving it this way. So we're having it as this, then divided by 2. So you observe that this solution we have has been reduced to the lowest form. Nothing can be done to it again. So the values of x now are, the first value is -4, remember? Then we have it that the second value of x is going to be 5 plus, then I square root of 55 all over 2. Then the third value of x is going to be 5, then minus I square root of 55 all over 2. Now, these are the three solutions for this equation. And remember, we said at the beginning that we expected to have 3 solutions. This value is the real solution because you can find its answer on a number line. But these two are the complex solution. And I hope you really learned a lot in this tutorial. Let's know how much in the comment. It helps us to serve you best. Remember, you can share this for more people, especially those that see this as challenging, to learn the tips we discussed in this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for the more tips and give this tutorial a thumbs up. I'll see you in our next class. Bye-bye.